I apologize for the language that I'm going to use in this video, but it's just for medicinal purposes only, to make a certain point. I went to Catholic school. I always say I had a Catholic education inflicted upon me. And when we were little children, kindergarten usually, maybe grade 1, I remember singing a song. Other people that went to Catholic school might have sung the same song. Sons of God, hear his holy word, gather round the table of the Lord, eat his body, drink his blood, and we'll sing the song of love. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. I should really have apologized for singing in this video, but oh well. I'll apologize for all of it. Now, as little kids, when we were singing that song, we all held hands, went around in circles, and did all that kind of thing that little kids just love to do. And I can't speak for any of the other kids, but it didn't even cross my mind what we were really singing about. I don't think that a child's mind really works like that. I guess we were vaguely aware that during Mass the priest did something or other to bread and wine, and that's what it was referring to and whatever. But if a non-Catholic had wandered in there, or someone who knew nothing whatsoever about Catholicism, and heard what we were talking about, they were singing about, they would have been horrified. But as far as we were concerned, we were just singing a song. And I'm sure that the teachers who taught us to sing it were doing so in good faith and weren't trying to shock anybody. That's simply the language of Catholicism, or it was then. I wouldn't be surprised if that song has been dropped, simply because people have sort of looked at it a bit and said, are we sure we ought to be teaching kids to sing like this, especially in a pluralistic society? So what the words say, the literal meaning of the words, and what they meant to the people who were involved were two different things, a very large disconnect. And a disconnect which could be very, very, very easily misunderstood by someone who doesn't see the world through the same sort of cultural matrix as traditional Roman Catholics would have. The second thing that I learned at the same school, I learned out in the schoolyard. When we were going to play tag, and we had to decide at the beginning who was it, we went, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a nigger by the toe, if he hollers, let him go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Now, of course, a lot of people, I think, in North America did this as children. And I think a lot of people were kind of surprised when someone pointed out to them later on, when they were old enough to understand, what they were saying. Because there were black kids in my school. I don't recall that ever coming up as an issue, because catch a nigger by the toe meant about the same thing as just eeny, meeny, miny, mo. It was just some nonsensical thing that we were reciting. The main point was to find out who was going to have to chase after everybody else to tag somebody. It didn't occur to us until much later that this can be very offensive, and that we must not speak like that at all. My parents, when they first heard me saying it, they said, no, it's eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a robber by the toe, if he hollers, make him pay $100 every day, or something like that. It's a much more harmless thing, and I don't think that is being overtly or ridiculously politically correct to keep kids from learning this kind of talk. But again, we weren't being racists as children. We didn't even know what racism was. We were just kids playing in the schoolyard, and this traditional chant had just come down to us from other children, and that's all it was. Words are like that. People can say all kinds of stuff, and they don't know the meaning. Again, in Catholic school, I learned all kinds of prayers by heart, songs and everything. I didn't know what any of it meant. I didn't even care. The actual terminology, the lyrics of the songs and the words of the prayers, especially if they're in Latin, a language I had no clue about, they meant nothing to me. But the act of praying or the act of singing a hymn meant something to me. So there is a disconnect between the literal meaning of words and the way that they can be perceived by people. It's an important lesson to learn, especially when you're judging someone else's religion that you don't understand. Thank you.